Hello everyone, are you ready for the final showdown here at the DTM? Welcome everyone to the Hockenheimring. Welcome here to this spectacular last race day. And we're super excited because it's 40 years of DTM and it feels like finale has never been this tight and as exciting as it is today. It's a nail-biting race, that's for sure. We just saw Maro Engel who just walked by. He is 21 points behind the leader of the championship, and the man who is second in the championship standings at the moment is only 1 point behind Mirko Bortolotti. There he is, Kelvin van der Linde, getting the high fives from the kids, and now cameraman hiding me, but not a problem. There he is, in best spirits. Kelvin, it's going to be a super tight race, that's for sure. Only 1 point between you and Mirko, and you're starting in P5, so what are you going to do to hopefully grab the title today?
I'm doing my best, as always. I'm proud of everybody in the team. I think today, 1 point in it, I think it's respect to everyone that's fought with us in the championship this year, all the guys that's raced against us. Yeah, let's go get it.
And also you've got Fella in P2, so hopefully he'll be able to help you out maybe?
I'm not expecting any help today.
All right, best of luck, Kelvin, you'll get it. All right, and we've got Mirko Bortolotti right here, who's the leader of the championship. He's got a smile in his face. He fought back really hard today, starting in pole position. So in other words, you're in the best position, obviously, and also 1 point ahead of Kelvin van der Linde, leading the championship. So what are you going to make out of it? Are you going to grab the title today?
Definitely we want to win the championship. We're in the best position now after a really tough day, so we will do everything.
And also, of course, you've got a colleague right behind you, so hopefully he's going to get you back as well and help you out a little bit.
Well, I think Nicky showed a strong performance, had a really good starting spot. He will do his own race. Obviously, for him, it's more looking at the race results. If he can try to get another podium on a win, for sure he will go for it. And so we will have different approaches, I guess. But yeah, it's great for the team to have both cars on the front row for their final race. And I hope it's going to be a good show for the sport.
Absolutely. And quite frankly, last question. You always seem to have nerves of steel, but today, the very last race, how do you feel?
I feel great.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mirko. Best of luck for the race. And of course, we're very eager. We cannot wait for the race to start. But now first, your commentators.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Welcome everybody then to the finale. 6 months and 15 races, 16 qualifying sessions, 1 point in it. Just 1 point. Mirko Bortolotti got pole position this morning, and with it came 3 points. That's moved him back into the championship lead by a single point ahead of Kelvin van der Linde. There he is, Kelvin. He starts 5th on the grid, but he will carry also 20 kilograms of success ballast on board the Audi R8 because of his win yesterday. So he's up against it, but he will give it everything like he did yesterday, like he's done all season long. See how he gets on. Maro Engel still in contention, 21 points adrift, but the German driver back in 13th place on the grid. That's where we're going to go now then to catch up more news with Verena.
This is what it's all about, the DTM Trophy, and we are super psyched. With me is Thomas Voss, the head of Motorsport ADSC, and we just said it's such a thrilling season. I mean, it couldn't be any tighter, it couldn't be any more exciting. So for 2024, I guess this is what you kind of hope for?
Yes, of course. The best racing season I've ever saw, and I'm in the business now for over 30 years. It's astonishing, and great performances of all drivers. We had 10 different race winners. 6 of 7 manufacturers did win a race. You can do it better.
And there's only 1 point between the leader of the championship, Mirko, and Kelvin, so that's really crazy. We talked about the weather earlier, so I mean it's drizzling a tiny bit. What do you think? Might that still play a role in the race?
Maybe the temperature. It's not too high. I think something about 12 degrees, and that's an influence on the tires. And maybe it depends on which car does better with the tires.
So we'll see about that. And obviously we're now focusing on the race, but let's just briefly look at 2025 because there's big news. I mean, what can we expect? What can we hope for?
We will use another fuel, carbon neutral fuel from 2025. I think that's the big news. We have to do something in case of sustainability. We are doing lots of things since more than 3-5 years, but this is great news for 2025.
Absolutely, and we have a new logo, so there's quite new stuff there for 2025. The calendar is also already out, so we're looking forward to that. But now, how excited are you by the race?
Very excited. It all depends on the next 1.5 hours, and we will see who will be champion after the race.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good one. And now to the commentators.
Thanks, Verena. Great to hear from Thomas Voss, the motorsports director of the ADAC, who run the championship. And I fully agree, Thomas. It's the best season of DTM I can remember as well. It has gone down to the wire. Mathematically, 1 point between it, which means that Kelvin van der Linde has got 99.5% as many points as Mirko Bortolotti across the course of the season. In other words, you cannot separate the pair of them. There is René Rast, who knows all about dealing with the pressure of trying to win a championship on the last day of the season, the 3-time champion. See what he can do from the middle of the grid, the best of the BMWs, but outside of the top 10 in qualifying. It's cooler than it was yesterday, and the track, the air temperature, again, is a little bit down on what it was yesterday, but it's pretty similar to what we had this morning, which will suit that man, Mirko Bortolotti, who absolutely flew in the qualifying session this morning. He's also, for company on the front row of the grid, got his teammate, Nicky Tim, in the other SSR Performance Lamborghini, so an SSR 1-2 in qualifying. Perfect for him there to have a rear gunner potentially to fend off anybody else, including Ricardo Fellow, who's qualified in third place, best qualifying for a while for Ricardo. So he, of course, teammates to Kelvin van der Linde, and the last hurrah for Audi, the Audi R8 alongside the Abt Sportsline team after 25 years together, 78 race wins, 14 of which have come here at Hockenheim now after that victory yesterday for that man, Kelvin van der Linde. It has been a phenomenal partnership. Can they go out on a high and end the dream scenario? Let's get some more news now with Verena.
And I've got a very relaxed Ricardo Feller here, who's starting in P3 in the race. And obviously, I mean, looking at the race, it's all about the championship. You're a team colleague of Kelvin. So are you, if you can, do you think you can help out there a little bit, or are you just looking and focusing on your own race?
No, obviously we're one team, so yeah, let's see what we can do. I mean, his main competitor is just ahead of me, so I'm in a sandwich where I actually don't want to be, but now I'm there, so need to do the best out of it, and I'm only looking forward, and I try to win the race.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it as well. And just one more question about this atmosphere here. I mean, how spectacular is that?
Unbelievable. I couldn't get to my car, so now everything is a bit more relaxed, but super nice to see so many fans here around, and yeah, let's hope they have a great show in the next 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And last question about the weather. What do you guys think? What are you guys predicting? It's going to be a dry race, or let's see what happens?
I think it will stay constant, but I didn't speak about
With the weather god.
Yeah, no, still not, so yeah, let's see, but I think it will stay dry.
We'll have a fantastic race, Ricardo. Thank you very much. And now let's do it. Let's go racing. We are super excited. So here are your commentators.
Thanks, Verena. Absolutely right. Great to hear from Ricardo Fellow. One of the nicest guys on the grid, and he's had a bit of a rough season this season. He started pretty well on the podium at Oschersleben, which was where his teammate Kelvin van der Linde really struggled. It transpired later on with a cracked chassis. But he's been working on the car, he told me yesterday, been working on the setup. They found something, and he's been right back on form this weekend. He was unlucky in the race yesterday to be forced onto the grass on the first lap of the race, so he dropped a stone last and didn't come back to 12th. I spoke to him yesterday, and he said, look, I just want to do my own race this weekend. I don't want to get involved in the championship fight. I want to let them look after themselves. But he is, as he said, in the middle of it now, perhaps where he didn't want to be. So we'll see how he gets on. There is the Iceman, Mirko Bortolotti, on the exterior, cool and calm and collected, but surely he and that man, Kelvin van der Linde, are starting to feel the pressure. They've worked their whole lives for this. They've worked all season long. They've given it everything, and it's going to come down to one race, one move maybe, one overtake, one piece of bad luck. Let's see how it all pans out. We're about to go racing for the final time this season. Welcome everybody then to a foggy Hockenheimring. There's a little bit of moisture in the air. It's not tears of sadness because it's the end of the season. It's that low cloud that we've had here since qualifying this morning. So all of the track temperatures reasonably good at 13.6 degrees for the time of year. That's not bad, but there's a little bit of moisture in the air. So a bit of a venture into the unknown. Fans gathered. I've never seen it so busy here at Hockenheim since I've been covering the championship. It's absolutely rammed in the paddock area, and the drivers were meeting the fans in the autograph session. They were brought out onto the stage like gladiators a while ago, and there's the front row of the grid with Bortolotti and Tim ahead of Feller and Gunon. Van der Linde starts fifth, Luca Engsler alongside him, from Pereira and Lucas Auer on the fourth row of the grid, and then the Ferrari pair of Jack Aitken and Thierry Vermeulen. René Rast and Anjan Guhen start on the sixth row, Thomas Priding and Clement Schmidt on row 7. Row 8, it's Maro Engel with work to do from 15th on the grid, Arjun Maini for company, and then Sheldon van der Linde and Max Powell on the penultimate row of the grid, the last row of the grid, Marco Wittmann and Ben Durr. So 1 point between them, unless they finish a bit lower down the top 15, where there's only 1 point of difference between each position, then it's basically whoever finishes ahead of the other is going to win the championship. If they do tie on points, Kelvin van der Linde has got more race wins at 3, and even if Mirko Bortolotti wins today's race, I mean, if he wins the race, he's going to win the championship anyway, but he couldn't equal the number of wins that Kelvin has had, so that's just worth bearing in mind. And for Maro Engel, his only option, he's got to win the race, and hope that Mirko Bortolotti doesn't score more than 5 points, which is 11th place, and hope that Kelvin van der Linde doesn't score more than 6 points, which is 10th place. So it is a not just a mountain, but a vertical climb mountain now for Maro Engel. Still, though, he's had an excellent season. He's been superb, and he's going to come out of the year with his best ever finish in the DTM. He will go forwards, I'm sure. He'll give it everything, as he always has done, but he is now the championship outsider. We're all ready to go. It's been an absolutely phenomenal season. Loved every minute of it, and we're about to get another thrilling climax, I reckon. And my name's Chris Hartley, and up here in the commentary box alongside me for the last time this season is Brian Oliver.
Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, everybody around the world. Good afternoon to the thousands of fans squeezed into the Hockenheimring for this, the season finale. And what a finale. I'm slightly shaking here. The nerves are high. Everybody's a little bit tense. We are just a little over 60 minutes away from discovering the identity of the brand new champion in DTM. Will it be Mirko Bortolotti? Will it be Kelvin van der Linde? Or will Maro Engel cause the biggest upset in the history of the series and come through to steal the championship?
Well, that man is in the box seat, but the only thing we know about DTM is that it's totally unpredictable. That is motorsport. That's the drama of motorsport, isn't it? You can do everything right, and sometimes it's still not enough. It's also, in a way, a sad race, isn't it, this, Brian? As we get the Mexican wave going in the grandstand.
We're doing it in the box as well.
There's an electric atmosphere here this weekend, isn't there? But it's also sad because all three of the championship competitors have been brilliant this year, and somebody's got to lose. Two of them have got to lose out. Only one of them is going to win it, but you could argue a case that they all would be deserving champions.
Yeah, we get a chainsaw and cut the trophy into three, but sadly we can only have one champion, can't we? And they'll all be looking back at the season. You were talking about how Kelvin van der Linde had that difficult start with the cracked chassis at Hockenheimring, but for a few points lost here, there and everywhere, it could be different. But it's all about being consistent across a season, and he who is most consistent is going to be the one who comes out on top.
Eyes forward, fixed and focused. One last time, one more go at this. No mistakes. It's got to be perfect. It has to be perfect. The prize at the end of this is massive. It is the DTM Championship. Whoever wins it, it will be their first title. They'll never forget today for the rest of their lives. The teams have played their parts as well. We've still got the Teams Championship up for grabs, as well as the Manufacturers Championship. Schubert and Lamborghini, Schubert and Mercedes with their noses in front in those particular battles. But the Drivers' Championship is the one that carries all of the glory. So, eyes fixed forward. Don't breathe, don't blink. But in a sense, Brian, as a championship competitor, you've got to put it all out of your mind and just drive the race. Just do what you were born to do and drive a racing car for an hour.
Yeah, it is just another race. Big consequences for the result, but you've got to shut that out of your mind. Treat it like you have done 15 other times this year. It's a race. You're just going for the points. Do the best you can, and don't think about the championship until the end. Well, that's very easy for me to say, isn't it?
Yeah, and at least they are in a situation where there's no complications, are there? You know, if you're in front of the other guy, you're going to win the championship, so they know what it's all about. The perfect qualifying for Mirko Bortolotti this morning, adding another 3 points to his tally. That's 20 points he has now scored from qualifying this year. That's the equivalent of a second-place finish. Kelvin van der Linde scored 11 points from qualifying. Will they make a difference? There to the right of the picture, Leon Vippersteg, the race engineer for Kelvin van der Linde. Thomas Beermeyer was giving him a hug there. It's a real family team at AB Sportsline. At SSR Performance, Mario Schubauer and Stefan Schlunt and the team will be feeling just as nervous, just as edgy. And a spare a thought for those half a dozen mechanics that are going to work on the cars in the pit stops as well. Huge pressure on those guys to get it absolutely spot on. It doesn't matter how many times you've practiced it, how many times you've done it, it's so easy to get it wrong. For everybody else, we're all useless spectators now. We can't influence this at all. All we can do is hang on and watch it. It might be a gloomy vision there here at Hockenheim with the fog, but they're going to brighten up our afternoon, I'm sure, with some more spectacular racing. The tension is palpable, almost to a person. They are holding their breath in the grandstands, ready to go. 1 point is all it has come down to in the championship. In 2024, we have had 10 different winners. We have 8 different pole sitters. We've had 17 different drivers on the podium. But now, 3 drivers going for the championship title, and 2 of them are going to end the day gutted, absolutely distraught, and one of them is going to be in delirium and in cloud 9. Who will it be? Bortolotti or van der Linde or Engel? The race is just about 30 seconds from getting underway. Mirko Bortolotti and Nicky Tim on the front row of the grid. Ricardo Fella and the brilliant Jules Gounon on row 2. And then on the 3rd row of the grid, 5th, Kelvin van der Linde doing the chasing, but with 20 kilograms of success ballast on the Audi. And Luca Engstler in the Lamborghini alongside him. And Maro Engel coming from the second half of the field. Let's get team radio from Kelvin van der Linde.
Good luck, everyone.
all you can do is give it your best. They should all be proud. They've all done brilliantly, but unfortunately, we can only have one winner. Let's see who it is. Hold your breath, everybody. We're about to fire into life for one last time this season. The roar of the DTM engines, round 16, the championship decider here at Hockenheim is go. We get underway, and Logan Bortolotti leads the charge. They're on the way into turn one. Right behind him, Nicky Tim, side by side for third place. Ricardo Fella just about third at the moment, way out wide. There's the black Mercedes of Jules Gounod trying to hang on to the position, but Bortolotti with a perfect start here. What about Kelvin van der Linde? Well, Luke Rexler's made a great start. He is tucking in front as well. Lucas Howe looks like he's made a pretty good start as well. So Engstler up into fourth place. Somehow Jules Gounod has only lost one place, so he's there in fifth position. And a couple of places lost, I think, for Kelvin van der Linde. Onto the grass has gone the Lamborghini from Pereira, which has gone out wide, almost like we saw with Ricardo Fella yesterday as they come down into the Spitzkehrer for the first time in the race side by side here. A second place, Ricardo Fella trying to go around the outside of Nicky Tim. That's not going to happen. Nicky makes that very wide. That Lamborghini is head up towards the right hand at turn 7. Fella next up. Van der Linde has lost 3 places on the start of the race. He's in 8th place at the moment, having a battle with the Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen. And Maro Engels made up a few places. He's into 12th position, so pretty good start like he had in yesterday's race. But look at the race leader. He is off into the distance already as Maro Engel gets side by side. Has maybe a bit of contact with Sheldon van der Linde, but a nice big gap developing. Thomas Priding now going side by side with the BMW of van der Linde. Van der Linde trying to go around the outside. Right behind him with the onboard camera is Maro Engel. Onto the grass almost goes Sheldon van der Linde. He's up the inside now of Thomas Priding on the way to the Sachs Curva and will gain a place. The 2022 champion Pereira already onto the back of the pack now. Onto the back of the final car in the pack, which is Ben Durr's McLaren. So end of lap 1, Mirko Bortolotti leading. You would quite like Nicky Tim to be second, but be as slow as possible to hold everybody up. Battling going on further back with Maro Engel and Sheldon van der Linde absolutely nailing each other coming out of the last turn. Looking back at them is Kelvin van der Linde, who's dropped to 11th place now on the first lap of the race. Disastrous start from 5th down to 11th. Now he's only got one choice, and that is to go on the attack, which is exactly what Maro Engel is doing. He nerves his way through here, gets his shoulders out, gets up the inside of Sheldon van der Linde, goes for the move. Nicely done. He gets ahead of van der Linde, who has to close the door then to stop his teammate Marco Wittmann coming through. So Maro Engel's got one thing on his mind, and that is to charge forward, and he's doing a pretty good job of it so far. But Brian, a not good start at all for Kelvin van der Linde.
Yes, Kelvin van der Linde would have had it in the back of his mind that he needs to finish at this race. A DNF would hand the championship to Bortolotti, so he has to be reasonably cautious, but he's got to push forwards because already Mirko Bortolotti with 1.484 of a gap over his teammate Nicky Tim, who will be something of a rear gunner whether he knows it or not. And now Kelvin van der Linde is on the team radio.
Copy. No grip, I think he said.
Yeah, he did.
So it's a little bit of moisture in the air, didn't we? Not rain, but just from this fog that we've got around. So he's struggling for grip. He's lost 6 places on the first lap of the race. He needed to go forwards, not backwards. Super slow-mo replays. This is Marco Wittmann being passed around the outside by Max Powell by the looks of it. That was a good move as the German was held up. And there was Jack Aitken giving a little nudge to Sheldon van der Linde, the McLaren of Clement Schmidt going around the outside, or trying to go around the outside of the British driver. He's been complaining that the Ferrari has lacked a bit of top-end speed. Jack Aitken, they've been struggling with the setup of the car and the rear of the car yesterday, so they've tried something, but they're still lacking a bit of top-end speed, and that is a McLaren with only 3 working tyres. Ben Durr has got a puncture on the left rear, so he's the first to come in with a problem, and we'll have to pit, change the tyre, get back out again, and of course we'll have to pit later in the race for the mandatory pit stop. But Mirko Bortolotti, your race leader, 1.7 seconds clear now.
Good job, mates. You're leading by 1.5 seconds. Kelvin lost some places, so take it easy.
If you can't take it easy at 265 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, well, he looks like he's taking it easy. You look at his eyes, he's just getting the job done. Maro Engel is getting the job done. He's trying to work his way forwards on the inside of Sheldon van der Linde. So Maro Engel, he hasn't given up yet. But yes, Kelvin van der Linde down in 11th place, and he's going to be thinking about the bigger picture, which is a 21-point gap. That would hand the championship to Mirko Bortolotti if the race finished now.
Yeah, he's relying on a huge turnaround now, isn't he? Kelvin's just got to push forward, go forward, see what he can do. He knows that he's only got one option now, and that is to attack. Sparks flying once more here in the DTM as they go over the curves. There's Adrian Gouin with damage to the front of his Porsche. He's got up to 8th place though. He's just ahead of René Rast, who's in 9th place in the big Beamer, and then 10th place right behind them is Thomas Priding. But that aerodynamic Porsche is slightly less aerodynamic than the designer had in mind.
Yeah, he's got an air brake out the front, hasn't he? So clearly been in the wars. The man behind him, René Rast, is the fastest man on the track at 139.7. That's something very familiar with René Rast. He does like to charge through the pack, but we've got some purples appearing throughout the field. Ricardo Fella was the quickest in Sector 2. Thomas Priding the quickest in Sector 1. So everybody turning the heat up, but Mirko Bortolotti with a 1.9 second gap at the front, and his teammate in second is looking increasingly comfortable.
On board with Kelvin van der Linde here. This is a replay of the start. He lost a few places in the opening couple of corners. He lost more in the second half of the lap, so went from 5th to 11th. So this is a replay of the rolling start from 5th on the grid from Kelvin van der Linde. Great start from Luca Engstler. He nipped through there straight ahead before they got to the braking zone in the Grasser Racing Team Lamborghini. So he's already lost one. That's Lucas Auer coming around the outside of him to lose another place just before we cut away from it. And then he gets swamped out coming out of the last corner with Thomas Priding getting ahead of him at that stage as well to push him out of the top 10. So you can see the car, the Audi just understeered, didn't it? So he's struggling, although Ricardo Feller's going well in 3rd place. He's not living with the pace of the top 2, the 2 SSR Performance Lamborghinis, but he is keeping off everybody else at bay. So van der Linde now eyes forward. Don't give up yet, never give up. You never know what's going to happen, and he won't give up, but he's in a very difficult situation now, back in 11th place. But for Bortolotti, it's a dream start. 1.9 seconds clear his teammate to help hold everybody else up as well.
Brilliant stuff for Mirko Bortolotti. Anchan Guan has been summoned to the pits. He's been shown the meatball flag, the black and orange flag, because of that bodywork, and he peels off into the pit lane. So Anchan Guan, such a shame, because he was up in the top 10, doing very well despite the aerodynamic aid. Now, I dare say the gaffer tape, we've got a new bumper that we're going to put on it. Whatever it is going to drop him a long way down the order. Of course, this will not count as his mandatory pit stops. He'll have to come in again when the pit window opens. But it's all looking a little bit terminal for the number 90 car.
Yeah, it has put everybody behind him at the place, including Kelvin van der Linde and Maro Engels. So they're 10th and 11th respectively now, but obviously being a point behind at the start of the race, Kelvin van der Linde knows he's got to beat Mirko Bortolotti. He ain't doing that at the moment, because Mirko, the Italian, he's leading a 1-2 for the SSR Performance Lamborghini squad as we go on board with Thomas Priding approaching 200 kilometres an hour. The leaders making their way through the left at turn 8, then through the right-hand sequence at turns 9, 10, 11, onto the end of the back straight where they come out of the second sector. Still, we've got Thierry Vermeulen fending off René Rast, so the young Dutch driver going well in the Ferrari. His teammate Jack Aitken is back at the moment in 17th place. Unfortunately, it's not been a great weekend at all for Jack after some real highlights this season and the 3 race wins, which has only been matched by Kelvin van der Linde in terms of the number of wins he's had so far this season. The fastest lap of the race belongs to René Rast with a 1:39.5. Bortolotti, the leader's done a 1:39.7 last time around, a 1:39.8 last time around for Tim. Bortolotti crosses the line and goes even quicker, 1:39.4 seconds, another 10th gained, and he's now over 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds back to Nicky Tim. Feller in 3rd place, a 10th slower than Tim, does a 1:39.6, and it's similar lap times for the next few, Engstler, Auer and Gunon, all in the 1:39.6s and 7s. I caught up with Jules Gunon before the race earlier on and had a chat with him, welcomed into the DTM, asked if he was enjoying it. He said, yeah, I really am. He said, I'm used to sharing a car, and this is great because I can set the car up for me and me only. You have to compromise in endurance racing where you share the car with another driver. He says, I hate understeer and quite often have to deal with understeer because the car isn't set up to me. I'm loving this. So we did a mega job in qualifying to be 4th on the grid. These race engineers said, no, he didn't, because he didn't get green sectors in all 3 sectors. And Jules said, no, I didn't. He said, I messed up a bit. He said, I could have been 3rd on the grid, but I didn't quite nail the lap.
Yes, we've been waiting for Jules Gunon to join DTM, but we'll come back to that. Let's listen to Sheldon van der Linde on Team Radio.
Yes, mate, so you're the fastest car on track right now. Good job there. And the pit window will open in 7 laps.
So Sheldon van der Linde, the quickest car on track in the BMW. Yeah, Jules Gunon, we've been waiting for him to come to DTM, one of the real stars of GT3 racing. Of course, the way that DTM differs from other GT3 classes is you are in charge of your own destiny. You don't have another driver who may well trash the tyres or trash the car. You actually get to do the whole race, and Jules Gunon will be loving that. He is such a talent, a former champion in GT Masters, a former 2 times winner of the Spa 24-hour race, a real superstar. I hope we're going to see him again next year.
He's achieved so much, hasn't he? And then you look and you go, he's still in his 20s. It feels like he's been around forever. He's won so much stuff in terms of the 12-hour races, as you say, Bathurst and the Spa 24 Hours, 2 GT World Challenge Championships, GT Masters Championship. It's a phenomenal CV that he's got. René Rast has finally found a way past Thierry Vermeulen then, so the BMW now up to 7th place. He went from 23rd to 3rd in race 2 here last year, so he was the most gained driver yesterday as well, coming from 16th on the grid to get himself well up into the top 10. So if only they could sort out qualifying for the Schubert BMWs, they would be absolutely on it, because the race pace is always good. If you weren't watching qualifying as well, just to say that there were overnight BOP changes. It didn't affect the Lamborghinis or the Audis, but the BMWs were made 10 kilograms heavier compared to what they were yesterday, and the Mercedes were made 15 kilograms heavier. Plus, of course, Lucas Auer finished 2nd yesterday. He's got another 10 kilograms of success ballast on top of that, which might explain why he's not flying like he was yesterday. And in fact, Lucas Auer's doing okay. He's in 5th place. Jules Gunon in 6th position, and Maro Engel has come up to 11th place now from 15th on the grid.
Good job. The first 4 cars pulling away. So keep pushing. Bortolotto might take it a little bit easy, but the gap is just slightly increasing.
Yeah, well, that's the point, isn't it, Brian? Bortolotti's got this nice big advantage now. He knows his championship rivals are way down the order. He doesn't have to win the race if he doesn't want to, because he wants to, and it's the best place to be. You don't want to have anybody around you really that could, cause you an upset and make a mistake that forces your race into difficulties. But one thing you can do is not drive the car at 100% and be quite sympathetic towards it.
Yes, and Ab Sportsline using Ricardo Feller and saying to him, look, you need to keep the pressure on, in effect, because you could help Kelvin van der Linde as well. Of course, Ricardo Feller would love to finish on the podium anyway. You're looking at René Rast in the BMW, who's found a route past the aforementioned Jules Gounon, heading now in towards the hairpin, the heavy braking into the 180-degree right-hander. But the BMW of René Rast very dialed in. The third of the BMWs we haven't mentioned yet, Marco Wittmann, is now the fastest man on the track at 139.105. So the BMWs are coming alive as this race reaches, we're getting close to the second quarter.
Yeah, this is going to help Schubert in terms of the team's championship as well. They're 25 points clear of Ab Sportsline and 35 points clear of Winwood Racing. And there's only 45 points available. Your top 2 cars can. If you get a 1-2, you can get 45 points. But René Rast going well. Sheldon van der Linde is in the points as well. So the 25 points Ab have got to try and make up. Obviously, Ricardo Feller is going well, scoring 16 points in 3rd place. And his teammate Kelvin van der Linde is getting 6 at the moment for 10th position. But they're not closing the gap to Schubert in terms of the team's championship.
See the cars just coming out of turn 16 and 17 onto the pit straight. The runoff area there is used as a drag strip for some of the year round, and it has 0 grip. It is like ice. Just standing on it is quite hard work. If the cars run out there, they are absolute passengers because there is no grip. And we saw that with Mauro Engel in free practice on Friday. But apart from there, track limits have been an issue throughout this weekend. Turn 1 especially, drivers need to not be exceeding track limits there. But turn 16 and 17, well, that's self-policing. So you go wide there as Marco Wittmann goes wide onto the grass. The McLaren going past him of Clement Schmid. Well, he stays in front of him, but that is for 13th place. Marco Wittmann doing a bit of rallycross, testing the suspension on the Schubert Motorsport BMW in towards the hairpin, but that's allowed him to fall back into the clutches, and Max Powell in 15th place. Having another look here into turn 1, Marco Wittmann onto the inside and challenged Clement Schmid for that 13th place, and now he's on team radio.
I'm in 50 penalty for Schmid. He pushed me off to his T3.
Yes, Marco on TV, he should get the position back.
Yeah, so Marco saying, come on, he's got to give me the place back. He forced me off the road here, and that's not just for the benefit of the team, that's for the benefit of the race stewards that will be listening to the team radio. Right, do your stretches, don't want to pull any muscles now, do we? Right at the end of the season, we've got a cold winter to get through. So the SSR Performance crew limbering up, getting ready to go. But quick maths in terms of the team's championship. I reckon Schubert are on 13 points at the moment, Abt 26, Winwood 16, and SSR 45, because they've got a 1-2 at the moment, which would put them up to second in the points. So Schubert 349. Abt to second on 337, and then up to third, 326 points as it stands for SSR Performance. Not winning now anyway, so Schubert doing enough for the team's championship as it stands. Mercedes have got their nose in front in the manufacturer's standings as well coming into this, and this could be the change of position whether Clement Schmidt's likes it or not. Marco Wittmann is coming through, but he made it a bit more tricky than it might have been for the double champion to get through, but he has been allowed back into the place, so Marco Wittmann back up to 13th position.
The stewards were clearly listening to the team radio, Marco Wittmann then, so yes, he was instructed to give that place back with Clement Schmid. Interesting enough, Jack Aitken, he's down in 17th place at the moment. He's just set a fastest in sector 1 on the previous lap, so there's some speed in the Ferrari. He's at the back of the queue. He got passed by Arjun Maini a couple of laps ago, but Jack Aitken getting up to speed. I know they've been struggling just to get the heat into all the tyres and getting a good balance on the car, so maybe it's coming alive a little bit as we still have 43 3/4 minutes of the race remaining. Mirko Bortolotti, 2.439, now it's 2.479 over Nicky Tim, so maintaining the gap. Nicky Tim doing a good job, just making sure Ricardo Feller doesn't get anywhere near his teammates.
Yeah, in terms of the manufacturer's standings, Mercedes doing enough to hold on to it at the moment, but Lamborghini, I reckon, have close to 16 points because they've got a 1-2 at the moment. They're getting 45 points. Mercedes are running 5th and 7th. We only count the first 2 from each. There's another Lamborghini ahead as well, which is Luke Rengsler, so he discounted his score. So Luke Zhao will get points for 4th. For that Mercedes, and Jules Gounon will get points for 6th, but at the moment Lamborghini doing enough to hang on to the manufacturer's standings, and their man Mirko Bortolotti is doing way more than enough to go for the championship now, 2.8 seconds clear, and his closest rival Kelvin van der Linde at the moment he's stuck in 10th place. He's been behind Thomas Preining since the first lap of the race, and the gap is around about a second. He was slightly quicker than Preining on the last lap, but only a 1/10 of a second quicker than him. You can see Thomas in the luminous yellow Grello Porsche coming down into the Spitzkehrer hairpin. There's René Rast then. Let's hear from Team Radio.
Okay, we got the first track limit warning.
So René Rast on Team Radio, homing in on Lucas Auer. Just had news through that over the course of the weekend we've had 95,000 spectators here at Hockenheim. I knew it felt busy. You can see it in the grandstand. It was absolutely rammed in the paddock earlier on today. So thanks to all those fans for coming out and supporting the DTM here at Hockenheim this weekend. Super slow-mos of everybody exploring the track limits here at Hockenheim.
Yeah, including René Rast, who had that warning. I've been watching him closing in on Lucas Auer for the last few laps. He's in 6th place at the moment. He started 11th, so certainly doing a lot of overtaking out of 17 once again along the pit straight. Behind the yellow Mamba, to remind you, of course, the yellow Mamba of Lucas Auer is carrying the extra ballast as well from yesterday, the success ballast, because of his podium finish.
Amps getting ready in the middle 20 minutes of this 1 hour plus 1 lap race is when the mandatory pit stops happen. Ricardo Feller is doing his damnedest to get onto the tail of Nicky Tim in that second place battle. At the moment he's 7/10 of a second behind him, and on the last lap Nicky was a fraction quicker than him, about a 1/10 quicker than him. Nicky's just done the personal best through the first sector as well, so Tim doing enough for now to keep Ricardo Feller at arm's length. There's not a great deal between them in terms of their pace. You got on board with Thomas Preining. If it stays like this, he's going to complete 2 seasons in the points in every single race, and he goes creeping up the inside of Thierry Vermeulen here in the Ferrari. You're on board with last year's champion now, Thomas Preining. Vermeulen trying to fight back, but there's a right-hander coming up. Preining knows he's got the line, clips the curve on the way in. The Ferrari driver is not going to give in though. Fantastic battling here into the left-hander. He goes deep into the corner. Preining's going to try and get him on the exit. Vermeulen fending him off still. He's got the right-hander coming to him though. He holds the line through there. Again, he gets a bit wide as he jumps over the curve. But once again, Thomas Preining gets dead level with him into the next turn at the Movement 1 curve at turn 12 at the inside. And finally, Thomas Preining gets through all of that just to get 8th place. But it's been points in every single race this year and every single race last year. So it's a run of 32 races if he finishes in the points today. 32 races consecutively in the points for Thomas Preining. Brilliant.
As the pit window opens, it looks like Kelvin van der Linde is going to blink early, as is the case with Thierry Vermeulen. But Kelvin van der Linde into the pit lane, so coming in for some fresh rubber at the earliest possible opportunity.
Yeah, 32 to 33 seconds to make a pit stop, including the time it takes to get in and out of the pits. Stationary time, you're looking at hopefully being under 7.5 seconds. Anything under 7 seconds is really good. We saw a 5.9 second pit stop yesterday for Schubert Motorsport for Sheldon van der Linde, the quickest of the year, and a 6th dead pit stop for Maro Engel as well. So Kelvin van der Linde, he's dropped off the Jags, a bit slow away, tucks back in behind Thierry Vermeulen, right underneath the rear wing of the Ferrari driver. So Vermeulen is released back out onto the track in the number 69 car. His pit stop time was 7.9 seconds, 7.8 seconds for Kelvin van der Linde, which is why he's a bit closer than he was before. Sheldon van der Linde, though, is about to go and try and go around the outside of both of them, including his brother here, but he's got 0 grip. The tyre's not yet up to temperature, no tyre warmers. Van der Linde Senior is trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen. They're absolutely together here, lights ablaze. 3 do not fit into 1 normally, so let's see who comes out of this on top. This is a real key phase here. Kelvin van der Linde needs to try and get through. He's got his brother just ahead of him in the middle of the picture there. To the right of your picture is the Ferrari, and at the inside, Sheldon van der Linde has got now his brother Kelvin trying to come at him, but the BMW stays just ahead of the Audi. Now the Ferrari tries to flick back, and also coming into the picture behind is Arjun Maini in the Mercedes as well, and he made his pit stop. So a crucial phase this as you try to get your tyres up to temperature. I can see that Jules Gunol has come into the pits as well at the end of the next lap. So from the commentary box, he makes his way down the pit lane. Max Powell also coming in.
Impressive, mate. Good job there.
Well, he's not doing his brother any favours there, was he? But Kelvin did say to Verena at the start of the show, not expecting any help. Oh, this was that was a one McLaren going wide. This is a replay. Just how tight it was coming out of the pits there. Vermeulen only just ahead of Kelvin, and Kelvin only just ahead of his brother Sheldon. So tight that. And that was because Schubert did a better pit stop than both of them, 7.4 seconds.
Every fraction of a second counts in a pit stop, and if you look at the replay, it was a drag race into the hairpin. Kelvin van der Linde then had the inside line, but there's a lot of power in that BMW. Despite the additional BOP adjustment, you can see him just come tearing past. This is towards the parabolic and up towards the hairpin now. Kelvin van der Linde had the inside line, but look at Sheldon van der Linde on the wide outside, just steaming past both of them, and then he's able to get it slowed down into the hairpin. and he takes that position away. But the BMW looking mighty.
Max Powell has just made his pit stop. He came out in front of all of them as the leading pit stopper. But I can see from the track map that going out through Parabolica, Sheldon van der Linde has just got ahead of Max Powell. So Sheldon van der Linde, the leading pit stopper, ahead of Max Powell for now, but Max has got a queue behind him, including Vermeulen and Kelvin van der Linde and Arjun Maini, who with HRT has had the quickest pit stop of the race so far at 6.6 seconds. And of course, Max Powell on the Lamborghini on cold tyres. He's going to struggle to keep them at bay. In fact, Kelvin, looking at the track mapper, has already got ahead of Max Powell. So the two van der Lindes are the first two in terms of the pit stoppers, but both of them looking to just try and work their way a little bit up the top 10 if they can. You've got Jules Gounon in the mix as well, having made his pit stop. Bortolotti and Tim stay out. Fella stays out. Exeter stays out, but from 5th place, Lucas Auer now comes in, changes the rears, changes the fronts. Winward only 2 points behind Mantai in terms of the pit stop challenge this year. So can they get the fastest pit stop? And 3 points that comes with that, and maybe sneak it. Let's see. Well, it's a very good pit stop. Lucas Auer is about to rejoin. We know he'll go for it. We know he'll attack. Pit stop 7.3 seconds. Not one of their best of the year, but still pretty good.
It looked very slick, but just every fraction of a second counts with 7.3. Very good still. Mirko Bortolotti yet to pit. He's got 3.5 seconds over his teammates. So still got a quarter of an hour in which to come into the pits for his mandatory stop. But at the moment, he's got an open track in front of him. He appears to have the pace and the grip. Why would he come in? Nicky Tim in the background also staying out.
You get the sense it's all going too well, too easily.
Yes.
Where's the twist in the towel? It's don't count your chickens just yet. It's there's always something around the corner, isn't there? But for now, it couldn't be better for Mirko Bortolotti. All plain sailing, really. 3.5 seconds clear in the lead of the race. Nicky Tim, his teammate, in 2nd place. Ricardo Feller 3rd. Luca Engster 4th place. 5th place, René Rast. That'll be 4th now as he comes past the commentary box, because into the pits has just gone Luca Engster. Steaming into the pits is Thomas Priding, double winner here last year, there in the background in the Porsche.
So Luca Engster pitting from 4th place at the time. He's looking very rapid this afternoon as well. The outgoing champion, Thomas Priding, comes to a stop exactly on the marks. The crews all get to work. The Lamborghini team, Liquimoli by GRT crew, getting the tyres changed. Thomas Priding, that was a nice quick stop for him. Good stop for Engster as well. Back out into the fast lane to rejoin the race.
Well, Lucas Auer is the leading pit stopper. He's just coming out of the final turn in the Winward Mercedes. 2nd best of the pit stoppers is Jules Gounon in the black number 4 HRT Mercedes. They're just over the start-finish line. There's quite a big gap back to Sheldon van der Linde, 3rd of the pit stoppers, and Kelvin van der Linde, 4th of the pit stoppers, as we get some more team radio.
We hit the marks. Prepare for launch. Fast lane is clear, 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 clear. We will be fighting Gounon on pit exit. It will be hard, but Gounon on pit exit, 2 laps advantage. Let's go, pit out attack, mate.
Fascinating, that, isn't it? A team radio relaying exactly what is going on to the driver, and what a pit stop it was from Mantai EMA. You can see why they are leading and maybe about to win the pit stop challenge, and just on the fastest pit stop of the race, 6.0 seconds for Thomas Priding. So he has now come out just ahead of Lucas Auer, and he makes his way through the left-hander as the leading pit stopper. He's coming out of turn 8 as Maro Engel comes into the pits. Lucas Auer's got Jules Gounon breathing down his neck as they come out of turns 10 and 11 now. So the leading pit stopper's about to come into the arena section as Maro Engel comes in to make what should be his final pit stop of the season.
Great to Thomas Priding's engineer when he came in, just very calm, very collected, no panicking. Reminded me of the last time I went to the dentist, actually. Just sit back, get on with it, this is all fine. And something similar will be happening with Maro Engel as he comes in. The crew get to work on the car, rear wheels first as is in the rules, and then the front wheels second. That's a good start. He's slow getting going, wasn't he? Lights the tyres up eventually, but out into the fast lane because Maro Engel for Team Winward.
Not only did Priding have a mega pit stop, he's obviously had mega in and out laps as well. He stayed ahead of Lucas Auer. He's the leading pit stop, and there he is in the back of your picture, still trying to get heat into the tyres. But remember, before the pit stops, Auer was 5th and Priding was 8th. Oh, they love that, don't they? Absolutely mega job from the team. So how quick was that?
5.8.
Oh, wow, quickest of the year, I reckon. Absolutely. 5.8 seconds. So they're going to get the 3 points. At the moment, Mantai will get 2 points. And I reckon Mantai will win the pit stop challenge by 1 point. As it stands there, Priding on warmed up tyres goes around the outside of Maro Engel, but Maro Engel comes first, understeers straight down, deep into the corner. He's got no grip, and he's off the track completely. He was trying to defend the position. He's got to give it everything. You can't blame him for trying to make that corner, but he just had no grip on the cold tyres. Here's a replay. Look how close this was. Absolutely fantastic battling. Maro Engel, 2nd best going into the corner, and no grip whatsoever. It was a brave effort, but deep off the road he went. Priding and Auer and Gounon all flying past him. And we'll try and come back at them later in the race, but he had to try something, didn't he? And here comes Ricardo Feller into the pits then from 7th place, from 3rd place, the number 7 car. Get your numbers right, Chris. The rear's changed, the front's changed, off he goes. That looked like a pretty decent stop for the the App Sportsline team as well. It was 7.5 seconds for Ricardo Fella. Right, how must these guys be feeling? Nervous or what? Because they've got to get this right. But also, Brian, they haven't got to rush this, as daft as it sounds, because he could have an 8-second pit stop and he'll still be fine.
Yes, that 4.3-second lead, very useful indeed. So he can come in, he can take his time. He's just heading around turn 11 towards 12 at the moment, getting ready for what should, he hopes, be his last pit stop of the season. I don't know who's going to be more nervous, him or the crew. I suspect the crew. They stand there waiting for that Lamborghini to appear.
Just do it properly. Do those wheel nuts up properly. If it takes 2 more seconds, it takes 2 more seconds. That's what Mirko Bortolotti will be thinking. So, the final pit stop of the season awaits. Not Bortolotti yet.
Maybe it's Tim.
Yes, Nicky Tim dives in. So Nicky Tim turns in. Have a practice on a teammate first. Probably a good idea.
Make the mistakes there. Not that they would make any mistakes.
No, right. Here comes Nicky Tim. So Ricardo Fella was only just behind him on the track and had a 7.5-second pit stop. Luca Exler's just done the absolute best first sector and absolute best second sector as well. Remember, if you're in the top 10 in qualifying, you have to start the race on the tyres on which you qualified. So he's got new tyres on clearly, and he's flying. And Sheldon van der Linde has set the fastest lap of the race just now as well with a 1:38.5 as he tries to get himself up the order.
Well, the rehearsal went well. Nicky Tim, a good stop there. 7.8 stationary in the pits. That's exactly what they need for Mirko Bortolotti. You can see him just trying to get some heat into the tyres. You see the back end stepping out as he hits the accelerator with no grip. You also see the sparks showering down. Bonfire night come early. Every time Luca Exler goes over the curves, it demonstrates a great, spectacular display of fireworks.
The racing team got on the podium in the Lamborghini here last year with Christian Engelhardt. They might do it again here today because Luca Exler is in a good position here. He's second of the pit stoppers behind Nicky Tim, but he's going to be closing up to him pretty rapidly with his tyres already up to temperature. Oh. There's a replay of Ricardo Fella completely missing the corner there as he understeers off. That's going through the Sachs curve on cold tyres at the end of his first lap. So Preining and Auer got past him as well. I also noticed behind Arjun Maini got ahead of Thierry Vermeulen. This is it then. Mirko Bortolotti, championship leader, race leader, final pit stop. SSR Performance, they take a breath and just focus on the job ahead now. The most important 7 or 8 seconds of the season for these guys. They've got to get it all right. In he comes. Stops on the mark. The rears come off. Slick. Swift. Nicely done. Fronts on. No dramas today. Spins up the wheels and away he goes. That was nice. 6.9 seconds for SSR Performance. He'll take that every day of the week. They celebrate as if they've won the World Championship.
I mean, that could be a championship winning pit stop, couldn't it? If there's ever a moment that it could all go wrong in a race, we've seen it so many times before, it is in the pit stop. That was a demonstration of the perfect pit stop.
Now, Mirko Bortolotti's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable. That's out of the way now. The background was Luca Exler as well as we rejoined, so he's found a way past Nicky Tim while we were looking at the pit stop. This is what it looked like on board. Yes, gives it a little fist bump, a little knee raise.
Great.
Job done, well done. The pressure on that is enormous, isn't it? So hats off to all of the pit crews this year. They have been absolutely fantastic. We've seen some of the best, haven't we, in this final race of the season as well.
Amazing. There are just 27 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this 2024 season for the DTM, and Mirko Bortolotti has had what should be his last pit stop of the season as well. René Rast has inherited the lead of the race, but he still has to stop, as does Marco Wittmann, Jack Aitken and Franck Pereira. So the leading stopper, Mirko Bortolotti, when all said and done, and now René Rast peels off into the pit lane as well, the BMW. So you can see Luca Exler challenging to the inside of Mirko Bortolotti. So great stuff there from Luca Exler, whose tyres were up to temperature.
Yeah, now he's the leading pit stopper. He's effectively just got the lead of the race. As I say, he'd already dispatched pretty stealthily of the teammate to Mirko Bortolotti, Nicky Tim, while we're watching Mirko's stop. So he'd already got up to a net second. He's now a net race leader as René Rast is released. Then we've got Luca Exler just now going over the start-finish line. Then Bortolotti, then Tim, and then it will be coming through, or should be coming through, Thomas Preining next up. Not Nicky Tim hasn't come through, has he? What's up to Tim? He's disappeared.
I thought I did see him come through. Where is he? You're right. So we're looking around for the missing Nicky Tim.
Didn't pop up on the timing screen for a moment and dropped down. No, he is there.
There he is. I thought I'd seen him come past.
Just a glitch, I think. So, well, this is a replay, actually. So this is Exler getting past for the race lead, Mirko Bortolotti. So Bortolotti has come through behind Exler. Let's get team radio first up. Nicky Tim has dropped behind Preining, Auer and Gunon. So he has dropped back down the order. He's in that packlet. You just see him in the background. So Engstler, we know, is the net leader. Bortolotti, we know, is the net second. Thomas Preining is a net third after their brilliant pit stop, but he's brilliant in and out laps. Auer is a net fourth. Gunon is a net fifth. And Nicky Tim has gone from second to sixth, effectively. So he obviously struggled big time on the second lap on his tyres. He'd already lost a lot of time. And this explains it. That's what happened to him. Nicky Tim did what Ricardo Fella did, went tumbling through the gravel traps, and both of them have dropped down. Tim is sixth net, and Fella is seventh, and they were second and third. So not able to handle the tyres, the cold tyres. Nicky Tim still understeering here, isn't he? And Ricardo Fella trying to get nimbly up the inside of him in the Audi, but can't quite find a way through at this point as they make their way through the final sector.
You may be wondering what's happened to Calvin van der Linde. Well, he is down in 13th place. That's net 11th once the pit stops are done, potentially, but a long way back. And depending on Mirko Bortolotti having a bit of bad luck, but it doesn't seem to be coming, does it?
Nearly €50,000 raised. That's just this season for the race laps for Wells in Africa from BWT and the ADAC. €4 donated to help provide cleaner water in countries like Gambia and Tanzania to help the situation there, and everybody's laps added up. And the foreground was Thomas Foyt, who looks after all of the media and the PR for the Amp Sportsline team. He's part of the family. He's worked with them for 2 decades now, and every bit as involved and emotionally involved and attached to this as everybody else in the Amp Sportsline team, but it is not going their way at the moment. So Marco Wittmann and Jack Aitken are first and second. They've got to make their pit stops. When you add 33 seconds onto Marco Wittmann's time, which is what it should take to pit, he's going to come out somewhere around Ricardo Fella and Maro Engel.
So we are P2, Wittmann is still out, but not danger for us, and Kelvin is far back. So just keep the position and finish the race.
Jack Aitken into the pits now, so only Marco Wittmann ahead of Mirko Bortolotti. Situation, just kind of one-word questions now with Mirko Bortolotti. Such is the focus, because yes, he's well up front, yes, he's well clear, but you try driving something that's got over 500 brake horsepower at these speeds for an hour plus, you cannot get one thing wrong in one corner. It's so easy to lose it. So he's in a great position, but he's still going to remain utterly focused, doesn't he?
And keeping the concentration is so important. Just a lack of concentration, you could throw it all away and be in the gravel trap. But he's not prone to doing that. But Luca Engstler up ahead of him, man on a mission. He was the quickest man a couple of laps ago, 1:38.066. But really, very, very quick is Luca Engstler, who will be the net leader once Marco Wittmann has been in for his stop. Jack Aitken is all done and dusted. You can see how slow the car is when the tyres are cold. It takes a while to get the heat into the tyres, and he has to lose a couple of places as a result.
Yeah, Miney and Vermeulen both just drive around the outside of the Ferrari, but he's going to have fresher tyres than them at the end of the race. I expect the British driver to come back in the final 10 or 15 minutes of the race. Still just under 22 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. Arjun Miney coming under fire from Clement Schmidt. The McLaren looking pretty racy. That's had some weight taken off as well overnight in terms of BOP. The McLaren 15 kilograms lighter than it was yesterday. And Clement Schmidt, the Austrian driver, looking pretty rapid in the McLaren, run by DTM Motorsport. Looks at the inside of Arjun Miney, can't find a way through. And into the pits is the last of our pit stoppers now. This is the latest pit stop we've had across the course of the 2 races. Only a minute and a half to go. Wittmann trying something different, the 2-time champion. So trying to at least help the team on the way to the team's title, which is working out at the moment for Schubert Motorsport. They are released, and away he goes. So Luca Engstler will now pick up the full race lead. He's already been caught, though, by Mirko Bortolotti, who's just put in a pretty impressive lap at 1:38.0. It was 8/10 quicker than Engstler last time around. So the gap was over 2 seconds. It's now only 1.3 seconds. Bortolotti doesn't need to win the race. I think he wants to, though.
Yes, how hard will he try to get past Luca Engstler? Because if he ended up in the gravel trap, it would hand the championship to Calvin van der Linde. So he needs to finish this race in the points. Will he challenge Luca Engstler if he catches him? How hard will he push? Well, we're going to find out, because there's 20 and a half minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this, the final race of the season. All eyes on Luca Engstler leading the way and Mirko Bortolotti, but lots of fighting further back as well. Maro Engel to the inside of Marco Wittmann. So Engel moving up towards 10th place.
Yeah, and after he overshot the hairpin on cold tyres, he's found a way back past Sheldon van der Linde, hasn't he, Maro Engel? So with that move on Marco Wittmann, that now promotes him up into 9th place. It's a pretty good effort from 15th, but it's not what he needs. He's got to win the race and hope for disasters for the other two to win the championship. So as it stands, he's going to finish 3rd behind Calvin van der Linde, and on course for the title, of course, still, as the pit window closes, is Mirko Bortolotti in 2nd place there. Chasing down, though, Luca Engstler, and catching him pretty rapidly, it has to be said. So the last lap for Engstler was a 1:38.8, 1:38.0 for the pursuer. Engstler was a bit quicker through the first sector, but quicker through the middle sector. The middle portion of the lap, which is half of the lap time, was the championship leaders. We get a replay now of this excellent pit stop from Grasser Racing, which helped Luca to jump himself up the order. Oh, wasn't that excellent? Yeah. Slightly missed the rear nut there, lining up. Still, though, he's going great guns, isn't he? It'd be even better if they got that absolutely spot on.
And there's problems as well for Kelvin van der Linde. You see, they actually tripped over the tyre they'd taken off, trying to put the rear on, the new one on. They were putting sticker tyres on, and the two collided and just wasted a few valuable fractions of seconds.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was 7.8 seconds, and they've been in around using the 7.5 second mark at this year. But that one from SSR Performance was pretty stunning. 6.9 seconds, so the quickest pit stop of the day. 5.8 seconds for Maro Engel, 5.9 yesterday. So that'll be 3 points for Winward. And the second quickest pit stop, 6.4 seconds for Rene Rast, I reckon, isn't it? Yeah, 6.4 for Rene Rast. Schubert will get a couple of points. They're third in the team challenge. And then a 6.6 for Argent Mining for HRT. Which means, I think, that by a point, Team Winward are going to move ahead of Manthey for the pit stop challenge. They're 2 behind. I reckon they've scored 3 and Manthey haven't scored any, so they might win that championship.
6 seconds to Rust.
Yeah, Ronnie Rust done at it again, isn't he? His later pit stop has worked out so far. He's managed to fend off the others in the group, and there he is, 3rd place overall. Thomas Preining in the background, 4th place overall. Our 5th. Ricardo Fella in 6th, or maybe 7th, because Nicky Tim gets past him on the run into the next corner. So through into turn 2. Coming back now at the order is the Lamborghini driver. So Fella had got him, and now Tim gets him back. That's a squabble for 6th place. Julian is in 8th. Maro Engel 9th, Sheldon van der Linde 10th, Marco Wittmann 11th, Kelvin van der Linde in 12th. That's why Jules Gurnon has just dropped out of the order. He got a rather large thud on the shoulder from Nicky Tim. Let's see what Jules thought about that.
Why you didn't box?
Because he pushed me. He pushed me out. I couldn't box anymore. No, it's what.
Interesting. So he's meant to be coming in the pits, which suggests a problem, and that suggests a terminal problem. He's a puncture.
Yeah, he couldn't get in because there was cars in the way. He was trying to get into the pits, and he was kind of hung out to dry a little bit, trying to get off the motorway almost. And now he's got to do an entire lap with the car ailing. That is just really what's the end of the afternoon, really, isn't it? He peels off into the little shortcut slip road, but that's a bit of a disaster for Jules Gurnon.
Yeah, a real shame, but an impressive cameo nonetheless from Jules. So
trying to turn in,
yeah, trying to turn into the pit lane, which explains why Nicky Tim came into the back of him. Wasn't expecting him to be that slow. He got the puncture already, I think.
You fucking idiot, honestly. I'm straight down to fucking dogs.
Jules Gurnon's grasp of English swear words quite good, I would say.
Yeah.
Apologies if anybody was offended by that, but a rather irate Jules Gurnon. Oh dear, he's made it limping back with that left rear completely delaminated now. It's still not back to the pits either, so just about crawling into the pit lane entrance now. Trying not to damage the car, but game over, I'm afraid, for the HRT driver standing in for Lucas Stoltz this weekend. Right, Exler, half a second up on Bortolotti. Last lap time, Borto was 0.02 of a second slower than the race leader. Luca Exler, of course, already one of our race winners this year. Can he get his second victory in the DTM? To do so, he's going to have to fend off Mirko Bortolotti. Mirko has got bags more experience in these types of cars than has Luca, who's only just come 2 seasons ago from front-wheel drive touring car racing. However, the ace up the sleeve of Luca Exler is the fact that he knows that Mirko will not want to take any big risks to get the race win. Doesn't matter how many races you win, it matters who wins the championship. And second place is way more than enough for the championship at the moment. It's Sheldon van der Linde, Maro Engel and Marco Wittmann go to battle, and Wittmann splits them. So he gets ahead. Sheldon van der Linde is racket coming out of the Mobile 1 curve. Into the Sachs curve they come. And Marco Wittmann now coming back up the order. So they've both got past Maro Engel. This is a replay down at the Spitzkar, and that was how Sheldon van der Linde triggered all that off, getting up the inside. I love this camera view looking down at the driver, and you can see Maro Engel there just millimetres away to the right-hand side of your picture. Van der Linde got through, and then Wittmann saw what was coming, read the room, and was able to pounce a few corners later.
That was great. It's a great camera angle as well, but Sheldon van der Linde in control of that. He tries to move across just to shut the door on Maro Engel as well, but the two BMWs ganging up on the Mercedes for position.
Feel for Kelvin van der Linde. He's going to be driving around in 11th place, and it's going to be feeling pretty helpless, isn't it? He just cannot move forward. He just hasn't got the pace in the car at the moment. He's just at a 1 minute 40.017, which means all but 2 drivers ahead of him. A quicker than him, so he's not really getting anywhere. We feel like treading in mud at the moment, and there we've got Marco Wittmann drawing alongside and now moving past his teammate Sheldon van der Linde. We got slightly fresh tyres on the car because he was the last to come into the pits, so Marco Wittmann now moving himself up to 8th place. Doesn't affect things for BMW and for Schubert. They've still got only the 2 cars count, so it's got the points for 3rd for René Rast, and they've got the points for now Marco Wittmann in 8th place, which will get the points for 7th place because there are 3 Lamborghinis ahead and there'll be the points for 7th for the manufacturers, but for the Teams Championship it'll be the points for 3rd and the points for 8th. Schubert will be in the box seat for the Teams Championship as it stands.
Right, I think we're heading down to Verena now, who has some news from the pits.
Unfortunately, Jules Renault was just taken away, so I don't know why, but unfortunately I couldn't get an interview. He's refusing an interview, so back to you guys.
Okay, no worries. Thanks, Verena. So Luca Exler leads with 12.5 minutes to go. Mirko Bortolotti sitting there in 2nd place. Has he blinked yet in this race? Every time we cut to the onboard camera, the eyes are steely and are focused fully forwards.
9 laps to go. Gap to Rast is 5 seconds.
9 laps to go. The gap to Rast is the one he's thinking about. Where's the danger coming from? Not really coming at all. René Rast at the moment is in 3rd place, but he is nearly 5 seconds back, 4.5 seconds adrift. So Bortolotti in a good spot here. They'll probably just want to keep at arm's length to Luca Exler. You don't want to get right behind the car in front, just in case he makes a mistake and catches you out as well.
Yes, indeed. So just got to keep that gap and keep it well under control. But look at René Rast in that 3rd place. So the BMW closing in on Luca Exler, Mirko Bortolotti. The question is, how much of a risk is Mirko Bortolotti willing to take? We're going to head back down to the pits now. More news from Verena.
All right, so I did get Jules Gounod. It was a bit of a misunderstanding. He just needed to grab the piece of paper. So back you are. What a shame. You were having such a fantastic debut start here at the DTM yesterday, 6th place. Today you were doing well, but then unfortunately you got a little knot there, I think. So the race ended for you. How unfortunate.
Yeah, well, I did a terrible start. I bottomed out at T1, which cost me 2 or 3 positions and put me in the back. But I had a slow puncture. I was going to go in the box, but Iggy pushed me and I could not box anymore because he kept pushing me and I missed the pit entry. So sad for the team. I think we could have done a double top 5. But I hope I will be back because it's a lovely championship and I really enjoyed myself. So I hope to see you next year.
We hope so too. Thank you so much, Jules. Back to you.
Oh, second that, Brian.
Yes.
We'd love to have him back, wouldn't we?
Yes.
It's been really impressive. What strikes me about Jules Gounod as well, he's really honest. That conversation I had with him this morning, I didn't do a perfect lap. I messed up, man. Sector 2, I lost 2 tenths here. And then he's saying, look, I did a terrible start. You know, there's no hiding with Jules Gounod. He just comes out and says it as it is. I love it.
And he also said, it's a lovely championship, and so say all of us. Right, you just saw 1, 2, 3 in the same camera shot. So René Rast is 3.9 seconds back from Mirko Bortolotti. Is he going to start to put a little bit of pressure on the championship leader in the latter part of this race? Because that could change the dynamic of this race. Mirko Bortolotti, a true racing driver, he's not interested really in finishing 2nd if he can help it. Is he going to challenge Luca Exler? Luca Exler will know that he's got nothing to lose and that Mirko Bortolotti has everything to lose. So, with 9 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race, it could all yet change. Is there a final sting in this season, a final twist in the tail? Here comes the race leader, Luca Exler. He's just come out of turn 1 towards turn 2. Mirko Bortolotti just a fraction over half a second behind. And René Rast, who is closing 3.644 now, behind that 2nd place. He fancies a little bit of silverware to take home. Well, he's got the 3rd place at the moment. It could be a 2nd. Outgoing champion Thomas Preining is well back down the road from them. He's 8.7 seconds back from René Rast as we look down towards the hairpin. 1st, 2nd and 3rd, all in the same camera shot.
Quick maths on the Teams Championship. I reckon Schubert are 35 points clear of Abt. And then 3rd, 42 points behind Winwood Racing. So on course for the Teams Championship as it stands, with René Rast 3rd and Marco Wittmann in 8th are Schubert Motorsport. Starting the season, that I think is the least they would have hoped for. As we see some more spectacular slow-mos of sparking Lamborghinis. I think that's the least they would have hoped for, isn't it, Schubert? With 3 champions in their driver lineup, and they, of course, would have hoped to go for the Drivers' Championship. But their issue all year long, Brian, has been qualifying. If they could start, 3 or 4 further places up the grid, or even 3 or 4 rows further up the grid than they have been. I mean, René Rast has been the best qualifier on average, and he's averaged outside of the top 10 in qualifying. But they're always good in the races, but they're always giving everybody a head start.
Yeah, this seems to be the case with the front engine cars, getting the tyres into the window. We've had the same with Mercedes-AMG, but especially at BMW. But they certainly come alive as the race goes on. That's exactly what's happening with René Rast as he's closing in, and they'll no doubt be looking at that over the winter months to see how they can solve that problem for next year. Because on the last lap, in racing conditions, René Rast has taken half a second out of second place Mirko Bortolotti, who's still pressuring Luca Engstler, 4/10 behind. Well, that keeps changing with every corner, doesn't it? Because it's 4/10, then it's a little less, then it's a bit more. Along the parabolica, taken absolutely flat out, heading towards the hairpin. Once again, under braking. Bortolotti just showing himself a little to the inside of Luca Engstler.
It must be a part of Mirko Bortolotti that looks in the mirrors and thinks, you know, I'll just back off. Through you come, René Rast, because behind René Rast there's a massive gap to Thomas Preining of nearly 10 seconds. He could just tootle around on his own, couldn't he, and have no worries whatsoever. There must be part of you that thinks that. I'm certainly part of the team, and probably everybody that's supporting will think that. Probably the last person that will think that is the racing driver himself.
Yeah, I don't think that's even entered his mind myself. No. But yes, no, yeah, I get the point.
I'm clearly a bit more cautious than Mirko Bortolotti. 16 points he's going to win this championship by as it stands. Doesn't really show us how close this championship has been, that end score, does it? Kelvin van der Linde, he's going to be still his best season in the championship, the runner-up as it stands, with Maro Engel the third, 35 points adrift. Teams have done everything they can now, and he's just down to the drivers and lady luck now. Luca Engstler doing an absolutely mega job in his second season of the championship. He won his first DTM race at Oschersleben at the start of the season. He got a brilliant podium finish at the Norris Ring, and he's on course for his second win in the DTM after a great pit stop phase, great stop by Grasser Racing and by him. Now, we know just how much Grasser celebrate. We'll look forward to that at the end of the race.
Is Luca Engstler leading the race? Did I just see my fucking... I mean, is it true?
Yes, he's leading ahead of Bortolotti.
Kelvin is being properly thrown around there inside the cockpit, isn't he? So he's Luca Engstler leading, so yeah, he's just checking, not that whether Luca Engstler's winning, he wants to know where Bortolotti is, that's the real question, isn't it? But he's still there, still second, he's still ahead of you, so that's all he can hope for now. He's in a bit of a helpless position, Kelvin van der Linde. It's a real shame that he hasn't been able to fight harder in this final race, hasn't it? But the first lap really didn't help. He had no grip, he was saying, and it was always going to be a struggle with that 20 kilograms of success ballast on board. What he needed was to gain a couple of places on the first lap, not lose 5, then he might have had half a chance, mightn't he?
He might have done, and it's a real shame. Audi certainly were hoping to exit the DTM and the AB Sports line with a win, but probably going out with a little bit more of a whimper in terms of Kelvin van der Linde. Of course, Ricardo fell in at that 7th place. The 1-2-3 is compressing still as we enter the last 5 minutes of the season. Nicky Tim trying to come back, and he is on the outside of Ricardo Feller. Ricardo Feller challenging for the 6th place. So the two cars are running absolutely level. So it's Feller the one trying to move forwards past Nicky Tim. Nice wide line into turns 16 and 17, out along the pit straight. But the Lamborghini are looking to have a fair bit of grunt as they head towards turn 1.
These two had a proper ding-dong the whole race, haven't they? They've swapped positions several times. They've both been in the gravel as well as they struggled on cold tyres. They could have really have been fighting for a win or at least a podium because they were running 2nd and 3rd before the pit stop phase. So both quick, but it hasn't worked out for them. And Nicky Tim and Ricardo Feller battling for 6th place. We've just had, with 4 minutes to go, our favourite message of the season come up on the screen from race officials. It says, donuts are allowed after the checkered flag.
That means don't go anywhere once the flag, keep watching.
Yeah, that's not the kind you eat, by the way.
No.
It's the kind that fills the air with smoke, yeah.
Right now, Nicky Tim to the inside. Marco Wittmann trying to follow through on his shirt tails. That was at the hairpin, that was. So Nicky Tim once again sailing deep into the corner. Now Ricardo Feller strong into turn 8. He's going to try and come back. But now Marco Wittmann fancies getting involved in the action as well. This is for 6th place.
Yeah, and ahead Thomas Preining has been shadowed, a bit like Kelvin van der Linde was yesterday, all the way through the second half of the race by Lucas Arie. Cannot fend him off. The two Austrians together in 4th and 5th, just ahead of this battle, with now Marco Wittmann going for the move and squeezing through on the way into the Mobil 1 curve. But Ricardo Feller, he's not going to give up. He holds the car on the inside just about by ragging it over the curbs and into the Sachs curve, and the Audi just about stays ahead. And that allows Nicky Tim ahead of him and the Lamborghini to gain 2 or 3 car lengths. But Marco Wittmann coming on those fresher tyres, and he's going for it as well. None of them care about championship points. They all just want to get a good finish to the 2024 campaign. So less than 3 minutes plus 1 lap to go now. Luca Engstler on course for a 2nd win in the DTM. Mirko Bortolotti 2nd in the race, on course for his 1st DTM championship. René Rast though catching him in 3rd place, only 2.2 seconds back now. Preining in 4th, Auer in 5th. And then Tim in 6th, Feller and Wittmann battling over 7th and 8th, Sheldon van der Linde 9th, Maro Engel 10th, and a gutted Kelvin van der Linde running in 11th place. Thierry Vermeulen is 12th, Arjun Maini 13th, and then Max Powell 14th, and from Pereira, the last of the point scorers at the moment in 15th. I say at the moment because he's got a quite rapid Ferrari driver called Jack Aitken, only about 0.4 of a second behind him. So that's another little battle to keep an eye on. There is René Rast then, trying his hardest. He never, ever gives up, and he's just done a 1:38.5, which was nearly half a second quicker than Bortolotti.
Yes, he's taking chunks out of Bortolotti's position in front of him, but time is starting to run out now. I don't think he's going to catch up with the Lamborghini. They're probably not going to have time to make a challenge, even if he does, but you've got to hand it to him for trying, haven't you? Never give up, René Rast in that third place. But Mirko Bortolotti, behind Luca Engster, feels as though perhaps Bortolotti, if it were possible, has maybe settled for that second place.
Yeah, it's all he needs. He just needs to drive it around now and have no dramas, no troubles, no travails. Now, Nicky Tim, not satisfied with fending off Ricardo Feller and Marco Wittmann, has caught up to Lucas Sauer, I can see, as they come into turn 17 now. So about to come over the start-finish line. Thomas Briding, Lucas Sauer, catching both of them up. Nicky Tim in the Lamborghini, trying to drag with him Ricardo Feller and also Marco Wittmann. So great scrap going on for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th positions out on track. We're into the final minute of the season, plus 1 lap then in this championship. Maro Engel and Kelvin van der Linde can, whatever happens in this race now in the remaining minutes, feel proud of what they have achieved. They have both been absolutely brilliant this year. They've been worthy competitors, and they've both driven their hearts out, as we've seen time and time again. They've given it everything. The teams have given it everything, but they might still not walk away with the championship title despite everything they've thrown at it. But they've given it a real good go, and they've both been world class. But Mirko Bortolotti has just had that little bit more when it matters in the final race of the season, the final weekend of the season. He's barely missed a beat. He's been in the points in every single race. The same is true of Kelvin and of Maro. The Team SSR Performance have been superb at the end of their 3rd season in the championship as well. And Bortolotti is now just over a lap away from winning the DTM Championship, having come so close to it last year, Brian.
He heads out onto the pit straight. The next time he comes out of that corner, he will see a checkered flag in front of him. The next time he crosses that line, he will be the champion. He's just got 4.5 kilometres to go. The team are looking on nervously in the garage after that excellent pit stop. Meanwhile, Luca Engster leading the way, looking for his 2nd win of the season as well. Marco Wittmann is still challenging for positions further back, just come past alongside Lucas Sauer for 7th.
Yeah, Nicky Tim and Ricardo Feller have both got past Lucas Sauer. Marco Wittmann about to do the same, so Nicky Tim is flying. He's up to 5th place, and he hasn't given up on 4th yet with Thomas Briding. So great battles going on further back, but all eyes trained on these two. The top two, I'll tell you what, a few more minutes, René Rast would be with them, wouldn't he? He's been absolutely flying in that BMW. It's been another great drive through the field for the 3-time champion. However, it is Mirko Bortolotti in 2nd place that's going to have the best 2nd place finish that he's ever had in his entire life, because it is going to mean the championship title. Luca Engster leads Mirko Bortolotti out of turn 11 and through over the sector line. There is 1 sector to go, a 3rd of a lap to go. Mirko Bortolotti turns right. He comes into the arena section for the final time in 2024. Dramatic, thrilling, magical. That is the DTM, and Mirko Bortolotti has been all of those things. Luca Engster has been brilliant. He is going to win the race, but as they come out of the final corner, it is Mirko Bortolotti that is your 2024 DTM champion. Bortolotti is the champion. Engster wins. Rast on the podium as well. Mega job.
I'm so proud to tell you, you are the new DTM champion. Yes, mate!
And now, there comes the flood of emotion.
Grande, Mirko, grande. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for everything. Thank you so much.
We've seen the SSR Performance team celebrate throughout the season, and boy, are they going to celebrate now. You can see the emotion starting to hit Mirko Bortolotti. He did not believe this could happen, but it has happened. He came into this weekend at the lead of the championship. He had that position stolen away by Kelvin van der Linde, but now he's back at the top once again when it counts.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything. I will never forget these 2 seasons. I will never forget what we did together. Unbelievable. I'm so proud of every one of you. Every one of you. It's incredible. I have no words. Thank you, guys. The biggest boss.
Wow. Now, Mirko Bortolotti gives this persona of being, and he is a cool dude. I mean, he has, nothing can shake him, but you just know that underneath the surface there is a lot going on there, and he remains cool outwardly and calm outwardly, steely-eyed. He's also a really nice guy as well when you get to speak to him, but he has clearly had a lot to deal with this last weekend. A lot of emotion is now being released. You can see the tears in the eyes, and if you're in any doubt as to what this all means to that man, doubt no more. He's wanted this ever since he came into the DTM. He got close, really, in his first season. Ended up 4th in the end, but he was brilliant in the first half of the season in particular. He was so close last year, a championship runner-up. Now, though, there's only one place to go when you are the runner-up, and that is up one more step, and he will be on the top step of the podium He's your champion. But hats off to Kelvin van der Linde and Maro Engel. They have also been magnificent.
Now it's it.
Wow.
They had Queen on standby in the garage already, and they're playing it for the spectators sat in the south stand. We're hoping we're about to get a display. The cars are coming on their slow down lap in towards turn 16 and 17, and this is where the donuts will happen. Already the donuts have started. I can see cars and smoke spinning around out of my commentary box window. Hopefully we'll see some of those in a bit. It's donut time at the Hockenheimring.
And the fog has only just lifted. Now we can't see again, but this time we don't care because it is tyre smoke. There is a fair few euros worth of Pirelli tyres that have just gone up in smoke. You can get the green smoke, look, from the back of the Lamborghini.
Green?
Yeah, because he's managed to light up the tyres on the green strip there, just off. So he's matching his colour scheme there. Absolutely brilliant. All that emotion unleashed because it's been bottled up and bottled up and bottled up. You've got to stay focused. You've got to stay on it. You've got to be there until the last corner of the last lap of the last race of the season. It's been a mega fight this year. 3 of them at it all the way through the course of the season. And of course, we must not lose sight of the fact that the race has been won by Luca Exler.
Yes.
What a star of the future he is.
Yes, congratulations to Luca Exler. Brilliant job. To take 2 wins in a season like this is no mean feat. There's some cars in there somewhere, apparently. I can hear them. I can't see them. I can see the headlights. I'm hoping that Mirko Bortolotti's going to get on the roof soon. Oh, we're down on the pit straight doing it now.
Nicky Tim's come all the way to the pit straight now. The big Viking Vandal is he's going the wrong way down the straight now.
No.
Oh, what a star he is. What a star, Nicky Tim. As Thomas Priding, he celebrated. He had the championship title last year. He knows exactly how this feels. And Maro Engel lighting up the tyres as well. It's a brilliant season. 3rd place in the championship for him. The GT World Challenge title, of course, last weekend secured with him and Lucas Sauer.
Вот в небном танце ритмы и слов я творю свой мир, ломаю устои. Не сдамся, не сломлюсь, я воин идей. В моем сердце огонь, в глазах яркий свет. Я иду напролом сквозь тернии к звездам. On the grind, мой девиз, мой путь неустанный. On the grind, я качаю биты, мои рифмы снаряды летят сквозь лимиты. Я творец своей судьбы, я во власти этих слов. On the grind, я меняю мир, ломая устои. On the grind, я меняю мир, ломая устои. Не боюсь преград, я иду к своей цели, как танк, невзирая на трудности. Это лишь ступени вверх. On the grind, я взлетаю, как птица с ветра вперед. Я художник своей жизни, пишу свой сюжет. Каждый день это новый виток, новый звезд. Не боюсь ошибок, я учусь на лету. On the grind, я расту, становлюсь сильнее. On the grind, я качаю биты, мои рифмы снаряды летят сквозь лимиты. Я творец своей судьбы, я во власти этих слов. On the grind, я меняю мир, моя устой. On the grind, я качаю биты, мои рифмы снаряды летят сквозь лимиты. Я творец своей судьбы, я во власти этих слов. On the grind, я меняю мир, моя устой. On the grind, я веду до конца. Моя жизнь это пламя, моя душа песня.
Had the trophy in the Winwood garage all weekend.
Here we go.
Come on, out of the car. Somewhere in there, there's a very happy Italian man.
Onto the roof goes Mirko Bortolotti, the brand new champion, receives the applause from the crowd on the South Bend. He can hardly believe it. He holds his hands in the air. The hard work has paid off. He is the champion of 2024.
Take a bow, Mirko Bortolotti. You've done it. Absolutely brilliant. He loves that car. He didn't always love it this season, but he loves it today. Wow.
I tell you what, I haven't seen a show like that in terms of donuts ever, I don't think. And right in the middle of it, the sobbing Mirko Bortolotti, the outgoing champion, Thomas Priding, stops to congratulate him.
Fantastic.
What great sportsmanship that is too.
Fantastic. He pops his head in. and they give each other congratulations. Thomas, it hasn't been his season, but he was brilliant last year. He's been brilliant again this year. 32 races in the points on the trot, mega. But he knows he's whipping up the crowd now. What like a gladiator in an arena, and to a spectator, they give him a standing ovation, and quite right too.
I think poor old Luca Engstler's going to feel like some of his thunder's been stolen here, isn't he? Remember, Luca Engstler won the race, but that is the champion. What a wonderful display. What wonderful interaction with the audience. He's not done yet, is he? Still more donuts to come.
What a vandal. I love it. We absolutely love it. So, quite rightly, Mirko Bortolotti is the last to leave the track and makes his way back now to the technical check area and is applauding back down the pit lane. And wait till he gets his helmet off. Then we're going to see even more emotion, and from the team as well. Stefan Schlund's team, Mario Schubauer, the team principal, they've done a brilliant job this season as well. And the Lamborghini has been great, hasn't it, the Hurricane? And he's been up there all the way through the season. But on every happy side, there's a flip side to the coin, and the just disappointment and dejection for Kelvin van der Linde. He couldn't have done any more. He's given it everything. He's given it 100%. It's a family team. They all hug each other. They'll stick together. But holding that steering wheel aloft like a trophy is your champion of 2024, Mirko Bortolotti. Absolutely magnificent performance from Mirko Bortolotti to come home on the podium once again and to win the championship. And there we go. We got to nearly €51,000 raised. Well done, BWT and the ADAC. Great stuff. And now we get the congratulations as well coming to him from Maro Engel as well, which is brilliant. Maro Engel, always a gentleman, always a sportsman. Well, he'll be gutted, but he should be proud, Kelvin van der Linde. So should the whole of South Africa. He's given it everything. There's our man Gianni Frabetti in the background. He's going to be having kittens. He gets excited when they finish in 4th place. So when they win the championship, so he works for TM Performance, who provide braking systems and underbody components to the Lamborghini. So he's part of the family as well. And absolute joy. Italy celebrate. Mirko Bortolotti is the champion of 2024. Everybody congratulating him. There to the right of the picture, Gottfried Grasser, he's going to have the beers out later in the garage, I reckon, because they've done a phenomenal job today as well with Luca Engstler getting the race victory. There is Luca, your race winner, to the right of the picture. So he gets weighed onto the scales, and the race winner gives the championship winner a big old hug. Luca Engstler now congratulates Mirko Bortolotti on his victory in the championship. He would have been gutted, wouldn't he, having got so close last year if he just missed out again this year. And as I said at the start of the show, it's a shame somebody had to lose it, because all three of them have been brilliant. Maro Engel, Kelvin van der Linde and Mirko Bortolotti. But only one can win, and the one is Mirko Bortolotti. And now he breaks down, look. He cannot believe it. He can and he can't, you know what I mean? Because this is what he believed in all along. But it's not always in your hands, is it? Sometimes you do everything right and it doesn't quite go your way.
Yes, and Kelvin van der Linde will testify to that because he came so close. He led the championship on and off throughout the season, but it's at the end of the final race where it really counts. That is where the championship is decided. Mirko Bortolotti, who has come close himself in the past, but now makes it to the top. And there is Luca Engstler, the race winner, and Gottfried Grasser, two legends in the world of GT3 racing. And great to see Luca Engstler. Congratulations, Luke, on winning your second race of the season, the second and certainly not the last. A real superstar in GT3 racing.
Yeah, it's been mega, hasn't he? In the Audi and the family run team, last year, switching to GRT this year. It's been a good weekend for Austria. The Austrian team winning the race. Yesterday we had an Austrian driver on the podium, Luca Sauer, and there is Luca Engstler, the German driver in the whites and blue and red suit, the liquid moly backing. He's played his part as well, hasn't he? René Rast, 4th in the championship. Coming into the weekend, he was only actually a point outside of being mathematically in with a chance. There's Stefan Schlund giving a huge, long-lasting hug then to his man, Stefan, who's put all of this together at the SSR Performance Company and team, and now he gets a huge hug from his champion, Mirko Bortolotti. René Rast knows all about it as well. Done it 3 times, he says. Enjoy your first. That must be the most special, mustn't it, the first time you do it. And what a ride it has been for SSR and for Mirko Bortolotti, and it ends in pure, unadulterated joy.
Wonderful stuff. Dear, I think the celebrations of this one are going to echo on into the night. So here comes René Rast, 3rd place finisher, onto the podium.
Yeah, René Rast rounds out his season with another podium. and a strong season once again for Rene. Only second in the BMW, and you know, we hopefully come back and have another go for a fourth title. He has been superb this year. Win at the Red Bull Ring last time out, a win as well in the middle of the season at the Norris Ring. But Mirko Bortolotti is now on his way for another podium. This is his 5th second place finish of the year. It's his best second place finish of the year because it means the championship title. But the win, fist bump in the air, goes to Luca Engstler. The final round of 2024 belongs to him. A second win of the season for Luca. And of course, the winning team will be celebrated as well. And the boss himself is coming up, Gottfried Grasser. He sent everybody else to go get the beers out of the truck while he comes and gets the trophy. They've done a mega job as well, and he gives a big hug to Mirko Bortolotti because they worked together in the past as well. So he's delighted for Mirko. He came in with Grasser to start with. He picks up Luca Engstler and now the national anthem. The German national anthem rings around the stadium here at Hockenheim for your race winner. Luca Engstler wins round 16 of DTM 2024. His second victory of the season. 10 different winners this year. What a season. Hilmar Siebert from the ADAC, the Vice President, presents the trophy to the winner, Luca Engstler, who is absolutely delighted with that. What a drive from him. And the second place trophy will be presented by Matthias Sink. And that, of course, goes to Mirko Bortolotti. Racing drivers are never normally that chuffed about a second place finish, but that one will feel great. It was the points that counted and the end result. Herman Tomczyk, Honorary Sport President of the ADAC, father of Martin Tomczyk, now presents the third place trophy to René Rast. Another trophy for René to add to the whopping collection that the three-time champion has got. That's his now 54th podium in the DTM. And Lisa Meyer will present the team trophy to Gottfried Grasser, the Grasser Racing team. The great underdogs of the DTM, victorious once again with their man Luca Engstler. So now they'll all pose for a photo. We've got the champions podium to come as well. And Gottfried Grasser, we'll see how quick he is now compared to these athletes, the racing drivers, because I suspect the champagne is going to be popped open very rapidly. Mirko Bortolotti has already got the DTM champion t-shirt on, and Nick Rakes wins that race as well. First one to crack open the champagne. You might be the team boss, he says, but I'm going to get you. But Gottfried gets it back. Champagne right down the neck of Nick Rakes. Mirko Bortolotti gets a bit as well. And celebrations for the final race podium of the season. And of course, as you'd expect, it is smiles all around. Just starting to sink in now, I think, for Mirko Bortolotti. You can enjoy it now. I mean, had that real emotion running through him when he was on the track, and then when he was back in the victory lane area, being congratulated by everybody. Well, the crowd have been treated once again to a fantastic weekend, a mega season of DTM racing, and of course the good news is we get to do it all again next year. The calendar already announced for 2025, and another great season, no doubt, ahead of us. Let's get some reaction then to the final race of the season down with Verena.
And I'm here with a very happy and very wet and probably cold Luca Engstler. Congratulations. You were celebrating your victory like it was the end of the season. Congratulations, and you must be so thrilled. It's your second win, and also you came from 6th place to victory, so that's huge.
Yeah, no words. I mean, I was never expecting to be here in first place. Obviously, yesterday we started before, we finished 15th, so I expected kind of a similar difficult race, but yeah, it was just amazing and super happy.
And also here in Hockenheim, and we've got such amazing atmosphere, so I guess it's even more special to end the season in a high, right?
100%. I mean, for me, it's also very important mentally going into a winter break, you know, having like ups and downs, but then to finish on a high obviously gives a big boost for next year.
Absolutely. Congratulations. Thank you so much. And while I look for the next driver to interview, back to you guys.
Thanks, Verena. Yeah, lovely to hear from the race winner, Luca Engstler, and very positive to hear him say that gives us a big boost for next year as well. So hopefully it sounds like he's already got the plan to be back in DTM and on the grid next year. Confirmation of your race winner, Luca Engstler. Superb job from, as Verena said, 6th on the grid to get that second race victory. Championship-wise then, Mirko Bortolotti has done it. Kelvin van der Linde slipped back to 12th place on the last lap or so of the race. So 17 points the difference in the end, but the reality, it was much, much closer than that would have you believe all the way through the season. Maro Engel, an excellent third as well. So they are the drivers 2nd and 3rd in the championship. René Rast 4th in the championship. Thomas Breining defending his title 5th in the standings. And Sheldon van der Linde, the 2022 champion, finishing in 6th place. As we go back to Verena.
And I'm here with René Rast. I mean, wow, what a race for you. You came from P3 and you made it on the podium. So how excited are you about that? P3, it's nice to end the season like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Very nice ending for the season. Similar as last year, where I started 18th and finished 3rd as well. So looked like the final is always a good race for us. But the race could have been 4 or 5 laps longer. Maybe we could have played a little bit with Marco and with Mirko and Luca. But yeah, still very happy.
Absolutely. All right, congratulations. Back to you.
Thanks, yeah, great drive once again from René from 11th on the grid. Confirmation that Schubert did more than enough to win the team's championship. So they are victorious by 35 points ahead of Abt Sportsline. Winwood Racing come home in 3rd, and SSR Performance closing the gap today, come home in 4th place in the championship standings for the teams category. Then the new DTM logo, which has been unveiled this weekend, the Future Lucky Brighton. Confirmation that Mercedes are the manufacturers' cup winners. As we go back to Verena.
And I'm here with the champion 2024. I just got a wet hug there from the man. And finally, I mean, you made it. It was such a tough season, ups and downs, roller coaster, and you did it in the end.
It's difficult to find the right words now. It's been an incredible journey since day one here in DTM. I enjoyed every minute, and we've been so close in the first 2 seasons. And I remember last year on Sunday evening was one of the toughest moments, but I realized that I lost to an amazing champion, which was obviously Thomas Breining. And I said to myself, if I go back, I have to deliver a perfect season, and that's what we did, and I'm super proud of that, and it's an amazing feeling to be DTM champion.
And also, Mirko, for the first time in 31 years, it went to Italia. We've got an Italian champion, and that makes you even more proud, right?
Yes, it's a piece of history that means a lot to me. It's I knew these statistics, and I knew it's been a while since an Italian brand won a DTM, so I'm super proud to be the next one.
And you can be, and I loved your donuts out there. All right, so celebrate up there in just a bit, and back to the commentators.
Thanks, Verena. Great to hear from your new champion, Mirko Bortolotti. And yeah, there Brian saying, you know, last year it was really hard to deal with just missing out on the championship. But he delivered that extra bit of fire if any was needed to come back and give it another go. And you have so many disappointments in motorsport, don't you? There's so many things that can go wrong. They're used to this from their karting days when they were 7, 8 years of age. You do everything right, and then something goes wrong with the mechanics of it, or somebody else ruins your weekend, or you make a slight mistake. There's 1,001 things that can go wrong. So they're used to dealing with the disappointment, and it just gives them more fire in the belly, and then to come back and win it makes it even more special.
Yes, and it was the consistency, wasn't it? He was there or thereabouts every weekend. There was never a weekend where he wasn't a threat. He was consistent across it all. The team have rehearsed the pit stops. They've worked so hard on the car. He's got a very competitive teammate this year, Nicky Tim as well, and the two of them have done such a phenomenal job. And now Mirko Bortolotti, well, he's not going to get that through on hand luggage, is he? He's going to take that trophy home, and he will look at that with a glint in his eye for the next 12 months.
His results this year: 2nd, 15th, 11th, 4th, 9th, 2nd, 5th, 3rd, 2nd, 9th, 2nd, 7th, 1st, 4th, 5th, and 2nd. It all adds up to one championship title. The big trophy is ready. The champion's podium is ready, and that man is ready to leap up onto the top step. A very proud Italian, an Italian driver, an Italian brand, and the fans all staying in their seats, ready to give a big roar and a big cheer, I'm sure. The pit lane is absolutely packed, I can see from the commentary box, isn't it? In front of that podium on the pit lane entrance. It's rammed.
It is everywhere. I just had to nip out for a comfort break, and I couldn't even move out there. So many people have been enjoying this, and boy, were they entertained. That donut show at the end. The smoke was still loitering across the TV compound just now. But yes, the fans on their feet. I can see the SSR crew on the podium already, ready to welcome their champion, who I think is going to appear on that podium any second now.
Yeah, brilliant. 95,000 spectators across the course of the weekend, and hats off to the ADAC as well. They do so much to make these events accessible and family friendly, and the teams, the drivers are there, and they're always signing autographs, having selfies. You can meet them in the paddock, you can meet them as well in the driver autograph sessions. We're waiting for the last bit of engraving to be done. No pressure, mate. Don't make a typo now.
Who's Mikro? Yes, I thought it was quite brave that they've got the T-shirts printed up already. I know that's always a certain thing you should never do, but you saw it with the T-shirt earlier. Now he's going to get the trophy with his name on it.
Here he comes. He's been called out onto the podium because he is the champion of 2024. With Lamborghini, with SSR Performance, Mirko Bortolotti, the 2024 DTM champion, is applauded by every single spectator here, and we have confirmation of the total raised. It's been rounded up as well. Massively rounded up to €70,000 from BWT and the ADAC for race laps for Africa. That is brilliant. They've raised well into well over around about 200,000 plus €1,000 over the last few seasons with that campaign as well. So well done BWT and the ADAC for the great work that they do there. That's a giant cheque presented to Mirko Bortolotti, and rounding it up as well to, well, rounding it up and then some from 50,000 to 70. Italian national anthem rings around the stadium here at Hockenheim in honour of your 2024 DTM champion. Thomas Voss, looking very dapper in his suit, is going to present this wonderful trophy, now engraved with the name of Mirko Bortolotti 2024. He receives hearty congratulations, and here we go, ready for the trophy lift. Yeah! Hang on. Yes! You're the champion!
Yeah, I knew all that weight training was going to pay off in the end. That was a bit of a struggle getting up there. He has driven an hour as well, though, let's face it.
And a minute. Don't forget that. More champagne flies. That's going to be a sticky car, isn't it? That's going to take, let's get that down the jet wash at the end of all this. But well deserved, and again, as always, well done to the team, because it's a team sport this, and they've all played their part. Every man, every woman in the championship team, SSR Performance, they have done it. Mirko Bortolotti has got everybody absolutely soaking wet there. He's got tears in his eyes, but a pain now because he's got a champagne stinging in his eyes, which I know is not pleasant at all, but he won't care. One shot.
He's going to need to go down the jet wash after this, isn't he?
Well, it's been a mega season. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage from Brian Oliver and me, Chris Hartley. Thanks so much for your company in 2024. One last time, let's hand back now to Verena.
Wow, and there he is, our new DTM champion 2024. Thrilled, and he is celebrating like he only can, obviously because he's so happy. He'll probably be drunk by the end of the session, all the champagne he's been drinking, but he deserves it. He did such a phenomenal job. It was such a super tight championship, and also Calvin van der Linde, a very well-deserved second placed winner, and he really did a great job as well. So we're really looking forward to the next championship next year, 2025, and wow, this was really spectacular. It lost for words. So everyone, see you next year. Bye-bye.